David Haye makes his return to boxing against Joe Fournier. Had no idea who Joe was, so I had to look him up. He owned a fitness company, sold it, opened up nightclubs. So pretty much he's just a made man, made money off of that, and he went into boxing. He's had 10 total fights. However, one of those was a no contest, so it doesn't count. So out of the 9 fights that actually count, he got 9 knockouts. Now, fought some pretty ferocious opponents. Before we get into that, hit the thumbs up, sub, notification bell. That way you get updated when I drop the newest content like this. Now let's go into some of the guys that he fought. He fought a guy that had a record of 2 wins with 24 losses. Fought another guy on his debut, another guy with 0 wins, 3 losses, a guy with 11 wins, 41 losses, a guy with 0 wins, 5 losses, a guy with 1 win, 11 losses, a guy with 0 wins, 13 losses, a guy with 1 win, 11 losses. So as you can see, this guy, he's only fought one person with a winning record, and that was a guy with a 14 wins and 8 losses, still very high losses. So overall, the guys that are fighting are the type of guys that you fight at the start of your career that are pretty much paid to lose. If you're the bigger name, which I imagine him being a millionaire from what I read, he's the bigger name. So I don't take much from those wins. He's going in there against David Haye. As long as this fight's on the up and up, David Haye should be able to smash him. Joe is stated to be 6 foot tall, but when I seen pictures of him next to David Haye towered over him. And I believe David Haye says he's 6'3", even though when you see him against other opponents, he doesn't look that tall. Now, the last time we saw David Haye in the ring was against Tony Bellew, and he kind of got beat up pretty badly in that fight. The fight previous to that, if I remember him in order, he tore his Achilles tendon, and he lost that against Tony Bellew as well. So he's coming off of 2 losses back-to-back. And I believe those fights happened way back in 2018, if I remember correctly. So David Haye's been very inactive. This Joe guy has been fighting, paid to lose fighters, buffing his record. This is why I say that just being undefeated and knocking people out doesn't really mean much. It depends on who you're knocking out and who you're beating. So on paper, it looks good, but in reality, it's not good. This should be a fight that David Haye should walk through, should beat this guy with ease, especially with the type of power that David Haye has in punching. Now, he was a cruiserweight. He moved up to heavyweight, and maybe the power wasn't the same. But again, at cruiserweight, David Haye had a lot of power. And for him to be fighting a guy that hasn't really fought anybody, he's going to be bringing a lot of power to this fight, assuming that David Haye's legs can hold up. Because we all know against Klitschko, he had a broke toe. Then against Tony Bellew, he tore his Achilles tendon. So his legs aren't the best. They haven't been holding up. I believe David Haye's around 40 years old, and Joe is 38. So, they're close in age, so that matches up well. Again, David Haye's the taller. Imagine he's got longer arms. I'm not quite sure what weight class this is going to be fought at. But again, David Haye's been as light as cruiser, as heavy as heavy. So I'd imagine it's going to be somewhere in between there. And again, if David Haye shows up to win, this should be an easy match for him. If he's really serious, if this isn't a fixed fight or a staged fight, then David Haye probably will knock him out if there are enough rounds for David Haye to work. After this fight, though, David Haye said he has a big announcement for a heavyweight matchup if he is victorious. So this fight for David Haye is going to segue into a big fight according to him. So we'll have to see who that is. Let me know what y'all think about this fight in the comment section. I think this is just another give me fight, but this really isn't on the level of like a Jake Paul type fight. To me, this is a celebrity fight. You're fighting a guy who has got 9 professional boxing matches, but are they really professional boxing matches? Is this really somebody who's considered a real boxer? See, this is where I come into the Jake Paul thing. At least Jake Paul, his last 2 fights, he's fought real fighters who have got real wins. They may not have been boxers, but they're sure as hell a lot better than guys who are 0-3 or 2-11, etc. So let me know what y'all think again in the comment section. How do y'all see this fight going? Do y'all think it's going to be David Haye playing with him, not trying to get him out of there? Do you think David Haye's going to come to knock him out? Or do you think David Haye's going to take the loss?